one perfect source we are all part of. No angry tyrant far above. That's not God's way at all. Now why would perfection want us to fear? That's not the reason that we are here. Open your heart and it becomes so clear. The smile on the face of God.
All right, let's pray. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be alive in this body. I recognize and know that my body is here to serve me, and my mission on this planet is to serve others. And so I honor and cherish my body, and I recognize and know that it is a thing of value, a thing of worth. I know and claim that my body is here for everybody. And so as I see and know that I'm here as a person of uplift, of empowerment, of service to the community and to the world, I recognize and know that the more I give, the more I receive. I don't have to give to receive, but I give to give. And without a doubt, I will always receive. And so I recognize and know that I am cherishing every single juicy moment of blessing this planet with my gifts. And I recognize and know that I am here to see and feel and know and identify the divinity in each and every person so that they may wake up to who they really are, especially when they've forgotten, especially when they're mean or unkind. I know that it's just a reminder that they have forgotten who they truly are. And it is my job to be a person who shows that light. For I know and claim that each and every one of us are light workers on this planet, that we are here to be an impact of love in the world. So that somewhere, somehow, the people in Florida, the people in Texas, the people in Mexico, and the people in Haiti, in the Caribbean, the people who are suffering right now, that they may feel and know that love is present. I surround them with light and love right here and now, recognizing and knowing that they are guided to the next right and perfect steps for their life. I recognize and know that this experience is one of connection, of opening, of feeling like there is something greater that is happening on this planet that is a force for good. And so I know and claim that any one of these events is an awakening for all of us to be more conscious of who we are, to be aware of the power and the love that we have to give, and that we each can give that in a way that impacts all. And so as I surrender to that truth, I release this prayer knowing it's already done, knowing that this love and this light is felt in Florida. This love and this light is felt in the Caribbean and Haiti. This love and this light is felt in Texas and Mexico. This love and this light is felt around the planet where there is wars, where people are forgetting that love is truly the answer. And so as I surrender into that, I use it as a mantra for my own life, that love is truly the answer. So anytime I am upset, I use that as my mantra. Love is the answer. And I ask myself, how can I be love? How can I be love? How can I be love? And so I release this knowing that God, the universe, the infinite one, the great creator, is here present, moving me in inspired divine right action right here and right now. As I claim this for myself, I claim it for everybody here, knowing it is done. And so it is. Namaste.
So many ways that smile is expressed, and all the wonders that I love the best, moments of beauty with which I'm blessed, they fill my heart with awe. Now I look up and I see an egret in flight, watch dewdrops sparkle in the morning light, and I perceive to my delight the smile on the face of one holy embrace. Every member of the human race, manifestations of amazing grace, the smiles on the face of God. We are born with a will that's free into a world of possibilities. As I believe, so life proceeds for me, and that's true for everyone. That's true for everyone. We all live in one holy embrace throughout all time and in every space. One love radiates from every face. Its light brighter than the sun. And as you manifest amazing grace, so you will come to see that your own life must be a smile on the face of God.
Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, handsome. However you want to qualify yourself as handsome or beautiful or all of the above. Yeah. Yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah, I'll claim gorgeous. All of us. This is a gorgeous crowd, right? Yes, yes. Just say yes. Huh? Babe. Hey, babe. My wife says that to me. I like it. So, well, good morning. I'm really grateful that you're all here today. What I typically say is it's the best day ever. And that's really hard sometimes whenever maybe you have relatives in Florida who are being affected by the hurricane. It's really hard when maybe somebody you love has passed away recently, or somebody you know has had a diagnosis that is not something you would want. And yet I still say it's the best day ever because it truly is the only day we have. We only have today. We only have this moment. And I woke up alive and I am grateful. And so I use this opportunity, as every breath that I have, as an opportunity to appreciate and feel grateful for life. And isn't it interesting that sometimes it has to be that cataclysmic event for us to wake up to the privilege and the beauty that's around us? And yet, wouldn't it be better if we could cultivate that on a daily basis? If we could cultivate the appreciation and the awareness of the magnificence that beholds us every day. When I drove into the parking lot this morning, I saw this little hummingbird and it jumped and it was, drinking from the flowers. And it was so delightful to me. And then I walked out and there were two more hummingbirds in the tree that was right out there drinking from the flowers. And one of them came right up in front of me and just looked at me. I was like... It was amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Is this flowers? My hair? It could have been my hair. I didn't even think about that. What kind of? You're a weird flower. But it was pretty spectacular. It was pretty spectacular, and I just thought, oh, nothing. There's just like it's the little moments in life that make the difference. It's the little moments in life. And they're not hard to cultivate, little moments. It doesn't mean that you have to do a big thing to change the world. It just means that you get to have the opportunity to appreciate the little moments and maybe create a little moment for somebody else. So that's why we're talking about your life isn't for you today. That's our topic. I mostly read this book. I like it. It's a really easy read. Your Life Isn't For You by Seth Adam Smith, A Selfish Person's Guide to Being Selfless. In The Science of Mind, we talk about the fact that we're all part of a great whole, a unity. And I just wonder, what does it really mean to be unified as a whole? I mean, it's really, sometimes that's a hard concept. If you felt unity, or if you were experiencing unity, what would you be feeling? Connected, yeah. Love. Harmony, love. Complete. Peace. Yeah. Yeah, and so I recognize that everything I do impacts the whole. And what happens to the whole happens to us. So the earthquake in Mexico happened to our family. The hurricane in Houston that just hit, the one that's hitting today in Florida, and the next one, that's our family. It's our connectedness, and we are being impacted no matter what. So living today and being upset about today, if somebody cuts you off, I want to just remind you that there's like a big hurricane happening in another state where people are losing their entire livelihoods. And maybe that's an opportunity today to say, I'm really grateful I have a car. I'm really grateful the sun is shining. I'm really grateful of the beauty that's around me in this moment. So instead of using it as a catalyst to get you mad, use it as a catalyst to awaken you, to appreciate what you already have. In the Science of Mind textbook, it says, real giving is the art of transmitting ourselves to others and to the conditions and situations that surround us. This kind of giving is not for special occasions only. It should become a habit of growing out of our desire to live life to the fullest extent. It is by giving oneself to every person, every project, every association with zest, love, and friendliness that one sees the larger possibility in all things. Beauty instead of ugliness, love instead of hate, the divine hidden within the human. I really appreciate that. That's from the 365 Science of Mind text by Ernest Holmes. And this isn't something new. I mean, I'm not telling you something you don't already know. I'm just here to remind you of who you really are. I'm here to remind you of that divine essence that you were born with, that life propulsion to be in alignment with a high vibration of love. Each and every one of us has that propulsion. Each and every one of us at times forgets. And maybe when the person who's in front of you has forgotten, it's the perfect opportunity for us to remind them who they are. Not by saying, oh, you should have done that, but by saying, I know who you are. I love this story about this tribe in Africa. They're called the Babemba tribe. It's a tribe in South Africa. And when a person acts irresponsibly or unjustly, they place that person in the center of the village, and everything stops in the village. All the villagers gather around that person, everybody, man, woman, child, and they circle around the accused individual. And then each person in the tribe begins to talk out loud to the accused, one at a time, about every single thing that person has done good in their entire life. It could take days until everybody has exhausted all the reminders of who that person really is. Nobody's permitted to fabricate or exaggerate. It's just telling them about their appreciation of who they are, what they've done in their past. At the end, the tribal circle is broken and they have a huge celebration. And they welcome the member of the tribe back into the midst. Now, wouldn't that be great if we did that instead of our prison system? Wouldn't it be great if instead of telling somebody how wrong they are, we could be that instigator, we could be that tribe's person who is the reminder that we call forth in each other that opportunity to remind them of who they are. To say, I remember that time when you did that wonderful thing. Kathy, when you had a bad day, I remember how amazing you are, how connected you are, how grounded you are in spirit. And when you pray, I feel that deep connection. And I love that. And so maybe you've forgotten that you're connected right now, but I want to remind you that you are connected. Now, doesn't that feel better? Yeah. Kathy's like, yeah, tell me more. Deanna's like, I'm next. I'm having a bad day. Can you tell me more? I love in Hinduism, I talked about a little bit last week. In Hinduism, they have this concept they call seva or sewa, and it is a type of service. It's a concept. It involves performing an act of kindness without expectation or reward. So you just do the act to do the act. Now, I don't know about you, but there's this thing where sometimes people do things with the anticipation of getting something back. And maybe you do that. It might have happened. You might have done that with somebody. I'm not the only one, I hope. But, okay. But whenever I do that, I remind myself that I'm not doing this service because I need something back. I'm doing the service because I love them. Because love is the great creator of peace. Love is the only thing that solves any issues that we have on this planet. That's the solution. I mean, it seems so simple, and yet it's not, because maybe that person triggered you. Maybe that person is voting the opposite way of you. Maybe that person has a different opinion on political areas. But that doesn't mean that we're not all human. And that there isn't something inside of us that has a need to help and serve the greater whole. A lot of times when we teach Science of Mind, we talk about how our thoughts create reality, or our intentions create reality, or what we speak about, we create about it, because everything is created twice. So there's this thing in our mind, we have an idea, or we have a dream or a vision, and then we speak about it, we pray about it, we put intentions about it, and then it manifests. It comes into the fruition. It comes into actual real life. I can feel it and see it. It's happened to me a lot, especially since I've taken a lot of these classes and I teach them, and I'm still taking the classes when I'm teaching them, because I need it repeated over and over and over again. So I really get that I can create a different possibility for my life. I can make a world that is joyful and pleasant and magnificent and fills me with passion and love. And oftentimes, whenever people take Foundations or Beyond Limits, I encourage people to utilize this skill, this tool, this way that the universe works. And a lot of people start manifesting things like parking places, or their perfect mate or partner, or that house that they always wanted. And I did all of those. I still am the parking queen, goddess, I'll just say. But there comes a point after I realize that the universe is here on behalf of me, that I realize that I'm here on behalf of the universe. And it's an evolutionary step that happens. Once I really get that I'm here and I've been served by the universe, I take it to the next level, and I start realizing when I serve the universe, when I serve others, when I serve that tribe, that family that I have, that humanity, that it starts taking my life to a different level. And I start understanding that every aspect of my life bumps up. And it's not because I'm serving to get it bumped up, but it's because when I serve, that's what happened, is when I give, that comes back to me tenfold. When I give, it comes back to me tenfold. So the more I give love out there, the more people start loving me. The more kindness I give, the more people start being kind to me. So maybe there's an aspect in your life where you're not receiving those things. I want to encourage you to start giving it. Maybe there's an aspect where you're not receiving money. What if you started giving some of your money away? I know it's really uncomfortable. People are like, what? But it's true. When we give, we demonstrate to the universe that we are worthy of having the thing, because we're telling the universe we already have it. Does that make sense? Like, I cannot give you love unless I actually have it to give.
Yeah.
I can't give you love unless I have it. So when I'm giving something, then I'm demonstrating to the universe that it is my divine right to be that expression of it. And I start seeing it everywhere I go. It starts reflecting back to me everywhere I go. Ernest Holmes wrote, "It's quite a burden lifted when we realize we don't have to move the world. It's going to move anyway. This realization does not lessen our duty or social obligation. It clarifies it. It enables us to joyously and freely do that which we should do in the state of being." He realized that each part of us is a part of that unity. And we must work to improve our individual lives by working to improve other people's lives. Mahatma Gandhi said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself into the service of others. Malcolm Bain said, if you wait until you can do everything for everybody instead of something for somebody, you'll end up doing nothing for nobody. So this is something that we should try and remember at all times. And as I was talking about seva, service, seva, in Hinduism, they have 7 types of service. They have serving the community. Knowing that we're in a community surrounded by people, then we give back to people at all times and make their life a little bit better. We serve animals. We are kind and loyal and understanding of animals, where we serve them and allow them to be in their habitats. But we also know that we are here to, as protectors of some of us owners of animals, that we are here to uplift and be kind and love animals and those who are forgotten, to support them as well. We serve the environment. We are consciously aware of what we are doing to our environment. So for instance, I put some signs out into our kitchen room, and we have different types of trash cans. We have the compost, we have the recycle, and we have the trash. And I want to encourage you to, every time you have a dish in your hand, to look at those signs and say, where does this go? Because as we're more conscious with every little decision we make, we create an impact on the planet. We make a difference. And there's little things that we can do like that. We bought mugs for everybody for our 5-year anniversary. We may have some left too. So if you want to get a mug and reuse it instead of having a coffee cup, that's another way that you can honor the earth. The other levels of seva, awareness. Being aware of how somebody else is feeling, how they are doing. Also being aware of humans. If we can help anyone at any opportunity, we do that. The other ways that we can serve are fundraising and by the individual, which means serving our body and our soul. So as we are here in this great community, we have this opportunity to look at those areas of service and take one or all and incorporate them in our week this week. In this book, Your Life Isn't For You, he takes a parallel with his life and this story by Oscar Wilde. It's called The Selfish Giant. In the story, a group of children would play in the garden belonging to a giant. Now, see, the giant went away. He was hanging out with his friend for 7 years, and, the children had discovered his beautiful garden. And when he came back from visiting his friend, he saw that all these children were playing in his garden. And he got really mad. He kicked them all out to the street, and he built a wall around his garden. It said, "Trespassers will be persecuted." And the children were very sad. And so they were playing in the street, the dirt street. They didn't have any flowers or trees or anything. And when spring came around, spring didn't come to his garden. And there was blossoms everywhere out in the countryside, but his garden remained blank. As a matter of fact, it didn't bloom at all, and the snow and the frost decided to stay in the garden. They invited the north wind to hang out, the hailstorm. Seasons pass, but it all stays winter in the giant's garden. And the giant got really, really depressed. And he was so mad and angry about how life had treated him this way, how the world was so mean. And he was embittered. And then one day, he saw a little bird out in his garden. And he hadn't seen birds for years. And then he noticed there were some flowers blooming. And then he saw a hole in his wall where these children had come through the garden and they started playing. And he had experienced winter for so long that he realized he had this beautiful garden and he tried to keep it to himself. And because he wasn't willing to share any of the beauty that he had created, it had died within him. And he had died within himself too. And as he saw these children playing, he saw this life and this vibrancy start erupting in his garden. And there was one kid who couldn't get up onto a tree, and so his heart just felt sad because he couldn't get in the tree and play. I like to play in trees. I don't know about you, but and so he went and he lifted the kid so the kid could play in the tree. And as soon as he did that, the tree started blooming. And he realized how selfish he had been. Because he wanted everything only for himself. He didn't want to share the flowers. He didn't want to share the experience of beauty and love to the rest of the world. And what had it done to him when he erected the wall around his garden? He erected a wall within himself. Now, Seth Adam Smith had the same experience. He did the same thing in his life. He erected walls within himself, and he didn't allow people in. He didn't allow people to communicate with him. He's a very mega introvert, and he didn't ever allow anybody to reach in. And soon as he built more walls and more walls and more walls, he started hating his life. And it got to the point one day where he decided to end his life because he didn't see any reason for living. He didn't think that there was love anywhere. But the thing was, he wasn't being love in himself to anybody else. He didn't see love in anybody else because he didn't see love in himself. And as he tried to commit suicide, he took a bunch of pills and he tried to have the car exhaust in his garage go. His father had this sinking feeling at work, and he ran home and he got his son and called the police, and they managed to save his life. But when they saved his life, he had to let go. He had to let his family in. He had to let people care for him. And he realized all along he'd been very selfish. He hadn't allowed people to connect with him. He hadn't shared who he was. He hadn't been authentic. He hadn't revealed his truth about how much he was scared about things. And when he started allowing people to love him, he started blossoming within himself. Now, maybe you might be in a similar state, or if you've had a similar experience. I want to encourage you to know that, I've had times in my life when I felt like it wasn't worth living, long time ago. And what happened is somebody had to reach into me to help me realize that I was worth it. So maybe you and I can be those people. Maybe you and I can keep reminding everybody of who they truly are. We can't expect to poison our families and then have happy family lives. We can't keep poisoning our planet and expecting the planet to be vibrant. Our lives are for the one, and it's not just the one, it's the one, the unity of one. If we want to be served, we must serve. If we want to be loved, we must be loved. If we want to be treated kindly, we must treat all others with kindness. I love that this author, Seth Adam Smith, he actually became famous because he wrote this article called Marriage Isn't For You. And it happened because he was scared of getting married. He didn't want to get married. He was in love with his wife, but he'd been best friends for 10 years, and he was really scared of getting married. And then his dad said, Seth, you're being totally selfish. I can make this really clear. Marriage isn't for you. You don't marry to make yourself happy. You marry to make someone else happy. It's not about you. Marriage is about the person you married. But it's not just marriage. That's what it is about every relationship. A friend is a friend, so we can serve that friend. Now, I know that there's some conflicting things out there. There's some unhealthy behaviors where people go out and they forget about themselves. So you have to have the balanced self of serving. But a true friend, you'll recognize, reciprocates. So if you're in a healthy relationship and I'm giving of service to my friend, I'm noticing that my friend is giving of service to me. And so and if they're not, maybe I need to remind them of who they are. Maybe they've forgotten what a great person they are. So I want you to think about this week, how can I be the person of influence? How can I be the person where I am a catalyst to good happening in the world? Zig Ziglar says you can have everything in life that you want if you'll just help other people get what they want. Right? So think about this week in every action, every activity. When you're going to the supermarket, how can I be a person of uplift? How can I be the person who reminds the cashier of who they are? How can I be the person when I'm driving that I am the kind driver? How can I be the person when I'm walking down the street and I encounter somebody who's different than me, that I welcome them in my eyes? How can I be that person? Because while people are suffering in Florida, the love that we create with each other, we can actually cause an impact in Florida. If we cultivate that love, if we cultivate that appreciation, if we cultivate that sense of connection and unity, it impacts the entire planet. So I want to ask you, what are you going to do this week? What are you going to do this week? Who are you going to be? So it is. All right. Oh, you can clap. I'm cool with that. I like it when you clap. I'll just say that. That's like a service to me. Thank you. Not that you have to clap every time. I'm not saying that. All right, let's pray. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be alive in this body. I recognize and know that my body is here to serve me, and my mission on this planet is to serve others. And so I honor and cherish my body, and I recognize and know that it is a thing of value, a thing of worth. I know and claim that my body is here for everybody. And so as I see and know that I'm here as a person of uplift, of empowerment, of service to the community and to the world, I recognize and know that the more I give, the more I receive. I don't have to give to receive, but I give to give. And without a doubt, I will always receive. And so I recognize and know that I am cherishing every single juicy moment of blessing this planet with my gifts. And I recognize and know that I am here to see and feel and know and identify the divinity in each and every person so that they may wake up to who they really are, especially when they've forgotten, especially when they're mean or unkind. I know that it's just a reminder that they have forgotten who they truly are. And it is my job to be a person who shows that light. For I know and claim that each and every one of us are light workers on this planet, that we are here to be an impact of love in the world. So that somewhere, somehow, the people in Florida, the people in Texas, the people in Mexico, and the people in Haiti, in the Caribbean, the people who are suffering right now, that they may feel and know that love is present. I surround them with light and love right here and now, recognizing and knowing that they are guided to the next right and perfect steps for their life. I recognize and know that this experience is one of connection, of opening, of feeling like there is something greater that is happening on this planet that is a force for good. And so I know and claim that any one of these events is an awakening for all of us to be more conscious of who we are, to be aware of the power and the love that we have to give, and that we each can give that in a way that impacts all. And so as I surrender to that truth, I release this prayer knowing it's already done, knowing that this love and this light is felt in Florida. This love and this light is felt in the Caribbean and Haiti. This love and this light is felt in Texas and Mexico. This love and this light is felt around the planet where there is wars, where people are forgetting that love is truly the answer. And so as I surrender into that, I use it as a mantra for my own life, that love is truly the answer. So anytime I am upset, I use that as my mantra. Love is the answer. And I ask myself, how can I be love? How can I be love? How can I be love? And so I release this knowing that God, the universe, the infinite one, the great creator, is here present, moving me in inspired divine right action right here and right now. As I claim this for myself, I claim it for everybody here, knowing it is done. And so it is.
And so it is.
Namaste.